A reminder, the news doesn't stop here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
The man accused in that light rail stabbing 2 months ago now facing more serious federal charges.
Everyone, and I mean state, local, and county, we all are responsible in this situation.
Hear from lawmakers calling for tougher penalties on crime and accountability from local leaders.
I'm at the Arboretum in South Charlotte where a teen is accused of breaking into at least 16 businesses here, taking more than $60,000 in merchandise. That story coming up.
Coming up, a new congressional map is officially approved for North Carolina. I'll break down what the changes mean for next year's election cycle and why Democrats say the fight over these lines is far from over.
And the IRS is changing how your paycheck is taxed.
What new tax brackets could mean for your wallet. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, heading out the door, this is I-77, just north of Griffith, out there by beautiful Lake Norman, where cars are flowing nice and smooth. We do have 2 new accidents, though. This is south of Charlotte, near I-485, where a lane is blocked because of a crash. Johnston Road at Pin Oak Court, just to the north of it, another one here at Sharon Road and Park Road. So take it easy. We'll have more coming up on WCNC Plus.
And only getting colder. Today is the top, 73 degrees, almost the exact same day as yesterday on the breezy side, lots of sunshine, but then look at that, the 60s and the 50s with rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Let's talk about a case of the Mondays. It's happening.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
All right. It's been so nice for like 3 weeks.
I
we
know.
can't.
That's true.
Good.
All right, join us at 7 a.m. over on WCNC Plus. Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington. Right now, it is really, really crispy. That fall weather is here. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, crispy. That's an
I know, I was
interesting.
like, ooh.
Some would say crisp
Oh, I like
crispy.
better.
or crispy.
Yeah, some
Like an
people like
apple.
crispy chicken or crispy mornings. It depends what you want. Or an apple. Our Lyle's camera zooming in and out here. Where I wanted to show you that we have some of those low-hanging clouds. This is literally valley fog that you're seeing off into the distance. Some bird flying sporadically. And then on top of Beach Mountain here, starting to light things up. It's really over the next 30 to 40 minutes that we have our sunrises across the area. WCNC tower camera. Everything is quiet and calm right over here at the airport. Current temperatures right now, 45 degrees. The coldest we've been so far this season is 44. Well, we're pretty much matching that. I think it's a good shot that at least the minute-by-minute data, we will drop down to 44 degrees, 42 in Boone, but honestly, this is nothing. I think we're going to get a lot colder. High temperatures today, we have the lower 70s. Yesterday hit 74. Today, since we're starting off a little bit cooler, I think we only hit 73. And sunshine galore. Wall-to-wall sunshine, just like yesterday. Not a cloud in the sky, so it's picture-perfect weather. But enjoy these days. They're not going to last long. This is literally the last day that I have widespread 70s on this map. Tomorrow, some of us could hit 70 exactly, but I mainly have the upper 60s. And overnight tonight, we also have something new. Some of us dropping down to their coldest temperature so far this season, and right around 32 degrees is where we've already hit around Boone. We're going to be pretty close to that, and that's why we have these. That's a frost advisory for areas right along the I-40 corridor. That also does include Rowan County as well, and then you have the freeze warnings up in the high country. The only reason why we have these is called the Frost Freeze Program. It's during the growing season or leading up to it that you're going to have these. So say in the early spring, if you have some tender plants, this is just letting us know, hey, time to protect them. But then once the growing season officially is deemed over, you're not going to see these anymore. That's why you don't see them in the middle of winter. When does Charlotte see its first frost? Well, on average, it's around October 28th. The earliest is usually October 2nd, and the latest, December 2nd. Just letting you know, a quick fact there. Going forward, as I mentioned, we're getting a little bit cooler. We have a shift in the winds, which is out of a cooler direction due north, out of the northwest. Sunshine still stays with us. It's through the weekend that we really start to see those changes. We have increasing clouds on Saturday. Still, I think, a nice mix of cloud and sunshine, nice balance between sun and clouds. But then Sunday overall could be overcast to mostly cloudy skies. I think the end of the day is going to be completely overcast as we lead into our next chance for rain. It is likely we see rain on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm going to put my weather bookmark right here. I'm going to show you that advanced extended future cast going forward with that low that's going to be spreading across the area. And we're also going to have more updates on Melissa, what's happening for this tropical season. A lot to talk about in the weather world. Let's see what's to talk about over in the traffic world. Majestic.
Good morning, everyone, and I hope you're having a great Thursday. Time to head out the door, get that playlist ready, maybe start a good podcast because traffic is starting to increase now that we're heading into that 7 o'clock hour. Do want to let you know about a new accident this morning that's going to be north of Charlotte right here. It's going to be on the entry ramp to I-85 eastbound at I-77, specifically exit 13A. We have a lane that's blocked because of a crash, so you can see those impacts right here. Again, that's our newest accident. Here's a live camera shot of it. I want to show you what it is. It's not significantly delaying people. You can see it's actually over on the side right there, but cars are definitely starting to line up now that we are just heading into that prime time morning commute traffic. We'll keep a close eye on that for you. This right here is our Atondo Ave camera. They've just kind of flipped it and zoomed it into that area. Another lane is blocked right here. It's going to be on Johnston Road at Pin Oak Court. So that's going to be south of Charlotte near 485. And then another one here, a lane is blocked because of a new crash on Sharon Road at Park Road. So about three main things that are ongoing right now. In addition to that, though, 485 out towards Matthews and Indian Trail, we're seeing that stop and go traffic here. No accidents, just more people heading in the same direction. And then if you're waking up in Gaston County, good morning to everyone there in Gastonia, Belmont, even out towards Mount Holly. We do have those delays building on I-85, but we know how that goes. That happens just about every morning. We'll have another check on traffic coming up here in just a few minutes.
Well, right now, the man accused of killing Irina Zaruska on Charlotte's light rail now formally facing a federal indictment. WCNC Charlotte obtained court documents showing DeCarlos Brown is facing counts of a charge called violence on a mass transit system resulting in death. Brown's also facing a first-degree murder charge. The filing comes exactly 2 months after Zaruska was killed while riding the Blue Line. Well, yesterday, local Republicans held a press conference calling for action. They say the violence in Charlotte has now reached what they consider a breaking point. They're pushing for more action and accountability from city leaders.
Everyone, and I mean state, local, and county, we all are responsible in this situation. And so it's incumbent upon elected officials in both our city council and our county commission and our local state delegation to begin to work together to address the gaps that we know exist.
Important to note, CMPD says violent crime in Charlotte is down so far this year. Charlotte's Metropolitan Transit Committee moving forward with a resolution to crack down on riders that don't pay the fee. You'll remember DeCarlos Brown, the man accused of the deadly light rail stabbing, had not paid to be on the train at the time of the attack. The resolution adopted at yesterday's meeting affirms recent security changes made by CATS that include stricter enforcement of fares.
Speaking of investigations, CMPD continues to figure out how a 19-year-old was allegedly able to break into 16 different businesses. Documents accuse him of taking nearly $65,000 in cash and goods in South Charlotte. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live at the Arboretum Shopping Center in South Charlotte with the latest, and Richard, reports show that he may not have acted alone.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Megan. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. A good Thursday morning to the folks watching on the Plus right now. You can see right over my shoulder some of the damage caused by this bandit, along with others, police say, who may have used metal bats to smash into windows, causing damage not just to this pharmacy behind me, but all up and down this shopping center as they made their way in and making out with a lot of merchandise and money. Here in South Charlotte, the business owners still dealing with the aftermath of a string of break-ins that left thousands of dollars in damages and also in stolen merchandise. According to search warrants issued Tuesday, 19-year-old Emil Lagos Herrera is now charged with breaking and entering at 16 locations here, larceny at 11 businesses, and 16 counts of felony conspiracy. You can see some of the damage left behind after those break-ins that happened between October 6th through the 13th, according to police, at this shopping center. One of the hardest hit stores, VIP Nails, is now back open, but staff says these thieves smashed their way inside with a brick and made off with both of the cash registers, stealing nearly $10,000. Authorities say another business, a CPR cell phone repair, suffered even greater losses, with tens of thousands of dollars in stolen merchandise, including 6 iPhones, and all worth more than $50,000 accused of stealing in this particular shopping center. Customers say they're shocked by the crime spree and worried about safety in places they've always considered secure, and people who work here just devastated by this loss.
When I returned with the wooden thing on the door, and I was like, what's going on? But then just when my coworker was saying that our shop got broken into. How they broke in, they just usually use the brick and just hit the window. They took both of our cash registers. You're young, and it's just like you have a whole life to live. You shouldn't be locked up for some silly stuff.
Yeah, silly stuff, police say, but you heard those charges that now 19-year-old is facing. As for that, so that woman didn't want to be identified, but her store is back open. They had a lot of damage. A lot of the store owners here in this shopping center have been going over surveillance video, a lot of them reporting seeing multiple people smashing those windows. So as police continue to investigate, which they say they are doing, you can expect to see some more arrests in this case. We're right here at the Arboretum. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
Goodness, that's a lot of businesses and a lot of money.
Absolutely.
All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us there in South Charlotte. Richard, thank you. Well, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and CMPD and Mecklenburg County are pulling together their resources to tackle the problem. Get this, CMPD gets about 40,000 calls every single year related to domestic violence, and county officials say last year there were 11 domestic violence-related homicides that they know about. Police say that city-county partnership is really vital to address the root cause of the issue earlier than you might expect.
So we see a lot of cases that come from different high schools in the area, from anything from stalking to assaults and different things like that. So the earlier we can get them and start preaching that, hey, this is toxic behavior and try to change it, the better we are later on. For more information on victim resources, you can head to the WCNC mobile app.
7:10 right now. The government shutdown now entering day 23, and millions of Americans who depend on food stamps could soon lose them. Coming up, we'll hear from concerns from those affected. $7:12 right now on WCNC Plus. The ongoing government shutdown now entering day 23. Yesterday, the Senate failed to pass a funding bill that would have ended the shutdown for the 12th time.
Yeah, the vote 54 to 46 fell just short of the 60 votes it needed to move forward. It followed a 22-hour speech from Senator Jeff Merkley, who held the floor overnight protesting President Trump's agenda. So far, this is the second longest shutdown in U.S. history.
Millions of Americans who rely on food stamps could soon lose access to them in November if the shutdown continues. Officials say there are not enough federal dollars left to pay out full SNAP benefits to families. If Congress doesn't pass a new spending plan by November 1st, or if the Trump administration doesn't step in to find additional funds, families could lose some or even all of their benefits. Folks across the country are now voicing their concerns.
I'm going to really be depending on the food banks, stuff that I can make a meal out of, or if I'm just going to be eating soup for the month.
There are thousands of people in this community that are living on the edge, meaning that little bit extra each month that helps support groceries for their children and for their families is literally life-saving. No parent wants their child to go unfed, and that's what will start happening. Parents will forego their own needs. You'll start, when you can't afford as many groceries, the kids are going to be the first ones to be fed.
The other federally funded program being impacted is WIC, the Women, Infants, and Children program. It provides nutritional and financial assistance to low-income pregnant women, new moms, and children up to 5. More than 6 million families rely on that program.
And in Washington, D.C., the East Wing of the White House was mostly demolished yesterday to make way for President Trump's $300 million ballroom. Sherelle Hubbard has more on the ballroom's construction and the criticism it's drawing from architects and preservation groups.
Out with the old and in with the new.
You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh. That's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it.
An excavator was first spotted Monday tearing down portions of the East Wing to clear space where President Trump is building a new ballroom that he says will cost about $300 million.
We're building a ballroom. I don't think it'll be topped. We'll have the most beautiful ballroom in the country.
Renderings provided by the White House depict a vast space with gold and crystal chandeliers, gilded Corinthian columns, and a coffered ceiling with gold inlays, gold floor lamps, and a checkered marbled floor. In the midst of a government shutdown, one GOP senator said the optics are concerning.
We're talking about building a ballroom when we're trying to get the economy squared away. Timing's bad.
Historic preservation groups have urged a pause on the East Wing demolition until, quote, plans for the proposed ballroom go through the legally required public review processes.
I just can't believe that the wrecking ball is taken to this iconic structure that symbolizes America and our strength and culture, and all without approval of Congress.
I said, how long will it take me? Sir, you can start tonight. You have no approvals. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, sir, this is the White House. You're the President of the United States. You can do anything you want.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
When we come back, we'll have another check of your forecast and the morning commute.
In Arizona this morning, 2 men are recovering after being struck by lightning. It started with a hike up Humphreys Peak, the highest point in the state. Mason Carroll has more on the rescue efforts and the warning from meteorologists about lightning dangers.
After getting struck by lightning and waiting for search and rescue crews, this Flagstaff man was reunited with his wife at Snowbowl. He was one of 2 men struck while hiking near Humphreys Peak. The call came in after 11 this morning. According to search and rescue members, when the men were struck, one of their phones flew about 30 yards away, but thankfully they were able to call for help with the other one. The first man who made it down was mobile and was able to meet up with search and rescue on the mountain. The other man was not mobile, and search and rescue spent the afternoon and evening working to bring him down the mountain. National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Bernhardt says Humphreys Peak is not the place to hike during a storm because there are no protective trees at the top.
It's up at 12,600 feet, and the tree line is probably right at about 11,500 to 11,800. And if you're in a cover of trees, lightning usually likes to go for the highest object, not always, but usually. And when you're up on Humphreys, you are the highest object. So the lightning, unfortunately, is going to potentially aim for you.
He says when thunder roars, go indoors. The best offense against lightning is defense, as in check the weather before you even head out the door.
Wow.
Definitely a good reminder there, you know.
You've got some numbers, Chris.
Yeah, and these aren't good by any stretch of the imagination, but it really makes this real. So far this year across the United States, we've had 20 lightning fatalities. And the most recent one, I believe, came from Colorado. And as you can see, we even had 2 here in North Carolina, spread across the distance, 1 in Puerto Rico as well, and then 3 in Florida. Now, Florida is the lightning capital of the world, so no surprise there. But I'm happy that we're not adding more to the statistics. And by the way, to this point, through October, we average, at least over the last 10 years, about 20 lightning fatalities per year. But look how well we have done compared to years past. Now, this is because we're more informed, we're more aware, less people working outside as well. But back in the 1940s, over 300 lightning deaths were recorded here in the United States. And it's been an exponential decline ever since then. Even the 2010s, we were averaging 25, and now over the last 10 years, it's down to 20. So things are heading in a good direction. This is my most interesting weather stat that I have so far this year. Of those 20 people, 85% were male, but in general, across history, 80% of all lightning fatalities are men. So you can put whatever extra comment you want with that. But I think also the most interesting fact about lightning, and most people don't know this, is that 9 out of every 10 people struck by lightning actually survive. There's the one that strike, that one single bolt, that's the strongest, is 10 times stronger. Those are like ones that most likely kill people. But the thing is, the ones that are struck by lightning, not saying that they're okay after that. There's usually some long-lasting damage. Here is what the 10-year average usually has. Most of our lightning is from June to August, and then September averages 2 and just 1 in October. So we're at least ending that game. And as far as thunder and lightning this week, don't worry about it. I'm not seeing anything in the short term, no showers or thunderstorms. You can see on Sunday, though, we start to see our next chance for rain. Widespread cold rain, not just possible, but scattered to likely. And I think it is going to become a little bit more widespread as we work our way into next week. Hold on. Clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. You have a low pressure system that's going to creep in really Sunday night heading into Monday. Where Monday, I think at one point, we're going to have several hours of rain, the way things are trending, because you have this low pressure system moving from the Gulf, crossing Georgia, South Carolina. That's where I think we have the most active rain, at least looking in the near term. But this is going to become a big time weather story heading into next week. It's going to tighten up. It's going to provide some gustier winds. So we're looking at some beach erosion up into the northeast and the New England side of things. And then we're going to have on and off rain as another front starts to push back in. I think the final hurrah is going to be on Wednesday, but then look at that. Yeah, there is a chance for a little bit of snow. That's right, maybe a rain-snow mix or all snow right along the high country. That's Wednesday night heading into Thursday, so we'll see. Our 7-day forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center. We are looking at a slow decline for our high temperatures. 73 degrees today. We only are reaching the mid-50s on Monday. That's a cold, wet, rainy day, keeping us in the mid-50s. Close to 60 degrees on Tuesday, but still not great. Things aren't trending great for the Charlotte FC match. I'm hoping there's a little break in the rain for it. And then back to 60 degrees on Wednesday, and things still looking good outside of the 7-day forecast for a drier Halloween. So finger crossed for that. Hopefully our morning commute's okay. Let's double check. Majestic, how's it looking?
Good morning, everyone. Well, definitely busy. 7:23 right now. This is I-77. Our York County camera. So coming in from York County, South Carolina into Mecklenburg County, just what we would expect. Traffic is starting to get busy now that we are nearing 7:30. Still an active crash right here to let you know about. It'll be on the entry ramp on I-85 from I-77. It's going to be at exit 13A. Make sure you're just being careful here. Here's one of our live cameras showing you exactly that accident here. So at least it's off to the side, but just be mindful as you're traveling. I know things can get busy in the morning commute, but traffic is just backing up. It's a combination, I think, of a little bit of a slowdown because of the crash, but ultimately I think more people are just taking the same direction. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here in a little while.
Well, take a look at this. A Michigan woman who won $100,000 from the Powerball says she got her winning numbers from ChatGPT. That's right. 45-year-old Tammy Carvey asked ChatGPT for a set of Powerball numbers and played them in the September 6th drawing. And when she checked her ticket, she saw that 4 of her numbers and the Powerball matched. She bought her winning ticket online through the Michigan Lottery website. Carvey says she plans to pay off her mortgage with the winnings.
Normal.
Very nice.
That's great.
Yeah. I just kind of think that was a fluke, right?
Yeah, as I
I'm
said,
like,
as I said
right?
yesterday, because we ran part of the story a couple days ago. I said, be $1 billion winner, and then I'll be impressed. Yeah. Then ChatGPT can really help me.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd
But
be
not-
impressed if it happened again.
right. True.
Sure.
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
But only for me. I don't want.
I know.
I don't want it. If it works for everybody, that sort of
Yeah.
steals the whole point.
Telling
of
them,
it, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
One stat that does verify, though, I think it's 75% of all the winners are quick picks, not ones that you personally pick your numbers.
So that's helpful info.
There
right
it is.
There you go.
There you go.
All right,
That's all I got.
Take that, AI. All right, live pictures right now over Uptown. Sun just about to come up. Another check of your forecast and your morning commute up next.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are down to 36 degrees for you in Lincoln, 45 degrees in Charlotte, so close to one of our coldest mornings that we've had so far this season. 73 is going to be our high, so very similar to the 74 that we had yesterday. Similar day in general, where we have wall-to-wall sunshine, a breezy afternoon with occasional gusts, getting up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, here's something new and something we'll get used to. We have a frost advisory for along the I-40 corridor. That also does include you in Rowan County. And then a freeze warning up in the high country. It's going to be a cold start tomorrow. Low of 42 around Charlotte, and our highs getting chillier. Highs only in the 50s with widespread rain Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. Majestic, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get a look at those area roadways as you're heading out the door for your Thursday morning commute. It's beautiful, but yes, it is chilly as you're heading out. This is I-77 coming in from York County, seeing very typical conditions this morning. It's slow moving, but no accidents as of now. About 30 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont, and you can see my map here. Definitely starting to see more accidents. Do want to let you know about this one. This one could be quite impactful. It's on the entry ramp to I-85 from I-77, specifically 13A. Here's a live camera shot of it. Thankfully, it's off to the side, but traffic is backed up. We'll have more on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Thursday. I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning, a lawsuit against the Catawba County Sheriff and the City of Newton is moving to trial. The lawsuit filed after a former police officer says his career was cut short because of politics.
WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard looks deeper into the case as questions are beginning to rise about power politics and policing.
Well, Derek Slaughter says after announcing his run for Catawba County Sheriff, everything changed. Now some are questioning whether you can wear a badge and still challenge the system behind it. When Derek Slaughter joined the Newton Police Department, he says he believed in service and integrity.
I stand by every bit of it.
In 2022, he decided to take that commitment one step further by running against Don Brown for Catawba County Sheriff. A decision that may have cost him his career, according to these court filings.
I knew there was a potential and high probability that I was going to have a target on my back.
Slaughter says shortly after announcing his run, he was faced with lots of retaliation, eventually withdrawing from the race.
And honestly, I thought that maybe potentially it would save my job and my career, but that ultimately didn't happen. They made this decision to serve me with the Giglio letter.
This case isn't the first claim of punishment for stepping into politics. Brookford Police Chief Willie Armstrong recently made similar claims, saying he too faced retaliation after announcing his own run for sheriff, while also trying to solve a cold case of Dee Dee Dawkins.
They told me that this could take my career. This is a local level situation that is very tied in with people that are at the top of the food chain in this area.
Armstrong was issued a Giglio notice just last week, a mark that can permanently damage an officer's credibility and career.
People in law enforcement, they consider that's a death sentence for cops, because that's basically saying your word is no good anymore.
Slaughter's recent lawsuit against the Catawba County Sheriff's Office and the City of Newton is now heading to trial, reopening an uncomfortable conversation about politics and policing. We reached out about those concerns. Catawba County Sheriff Brown responding, saying allegations contained in this complaint are baseless and is nothing more than a political theater. Brown says he's looking forward to addressing this matter in court. Slaughter says so is he.
The truth's going to come out. And I think that's gonna be a good day for not just me, but a lot of other officers that has endured a lot of this.
No court date has been set yet, but this case could have ripple effects for both the Newton Police Department and the Catawba County Sheriff's Office. Two agencies now under scrutiny as this high-profile trial heads to court. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Tradisha. Check it out. Wow, this almost looks like a postcard, right? Lylesville, you're doing it right now. And you're looking at a little bit of fog off in the distance. Really, this is some of that valley fog and those lower elevations. And this can drop down in lower visibilities, but no big issues there. Most people are not living where we're looking right there. And beautiful orangey pinkish sky. That is a great start to the day. Here is a zoom in, mainly grass here at Beach Mountain. We have no control over this camera. I think it's also frozen, but to think, in a couple of months, there's going to be active skiers and snowboarders up here. One of my favorite cameras to watch. Sunrise time officially was at 7:37, or is. I forgot what time it was. Is at 7:37, so it's about to happen right now for your October 23rd. A clear sky and all in all, looking good. Current temperatures right now on the chilly side, 45 degrees. So we're right around our morning low, and then over the next hour, we're going to start to crank up Mother Nature's thermostat. We'll get back in the lower to the mid-70s, just like yesterday. We'll have wall-to-wall sunshine, just like yesterday, and it'll be breezy. You know what I'm about to say. We're getting a gust up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Yesterday, we actually did have a gust of about 28, though. Forecast overnight tonight, dropping down into the 30s for a good portion of us. The lower 40s for the first time in Charlotte since about the first half of April. And some of us also for the first, seeing the frost advisory and freeze warning first time since spring. And this is just representing that I think you could have a little bit of light frost, especially along the I-40 corridor. However, Rowan County, you are also included in this one by the National Weather Service, and then we have a freeze warning possibility up in the mountains. What's interesting, though, is that Boone, I already saw a freezing temperature for you just yesterday, or no, a couple of days ago. So, yeah, even though we have a freeze warning, this is just now official from the National Weather Service. Over the next 3 days, check it out. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have the 60s. Now, Tomorrow, close enough, we're almost hitting that 70-degree point. But today is really the last day that we have a few hours in the 70s. And things are really going to tick downward Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because of a chance for a widespread system. So I was showing you this a little bit earlier, just about 20 minutes ago or so. Check it out. We have this low pressure system that's going to move in. There's so many variables here to try to unpack, but one thing it is looking for sure, Monday is not a pretty day. Monday's not going to give you the motivation of sunshine. I think you see zero sunshine. I think that there's more wet hours than dry ones. That's what it's looking like for right now. And I also think it's going to be breezy as well and cold. This is a cold rain in the 40s and the 50s. Our surface map also showing that things get a little bit better by the back end of your Tuesday. This is good news for the Charlotte FC game because that officially is going on at 6:30 on Tuesday, and that's game 1 of the playoffs. Still a wet field to think about. And then the back end of this, we could drag some rain into Wednesday. So right now, Monday is looking to be the weather of the day, and what this low pressure system does is going to become a big time story. This is another nor'easter setup that's heading up into the northeast. And then meanwhile, we're also looking right here. Cold air blows in behind this, allowing for even a chance for a little wintry mix or even snow up in the high country. Shouldn't really accumulate too much, but hey, you might see snowflakes for the first time. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows we're going down to 56 degrees on Monday. On Tuesday, still rocking the 50s, and then back to about 60 degrees on Wednesday. Things are still trending to dry out, but still be cold heading into Halloween, which of course is the following Friday, so keep that in mind. We're definitely enjoying the sunshine while we have it. I know Majestic and I are at least.
Oh, it's so pretty. I just stepped outside not that long ago and the sky's nice, but that chill definitely wakes you up when you step outside. You're going to feel it. Want to get a look at traffic as you're heading out the door because we do have quite a bit starting to happen now. Want to still also let you know that this is still ongoing. The entry ramp to I-85, there's a crash there from I-77. This is specifically at exit 13A heading northbound. There is a look at that. You can see the accident's actually out on the side. Cars are able to get around it, but it's a combination of kind of people moving slowly around it and then people just starting their day and heading off to where they typically would be. Another lane is currently blocked, this time on Johnston Road at Pin Oak Court. This is south of Charlotte. Keep that one in mind, seeing some yellow still develop here as well, meaning there are some minimal impacts because a lane is currently blocked because of a crash. This is on Sharon Road at Park Road. And then once we zoom it out just a bit, want to give you an update on 485. Definitely slow moving out there towards Matthews, Indian Trail, even back towards Mint Hill, and then I-85 through Gaston County. Those slowdowns are on, but thankfully no accidents to report there. Those are the major things that I'm watching for now. We'll give you another check as things do change, all coming up here in just a few. Megan.
All right, thanks, Majestic. The North Carolina House officially approving a new congressional map. You can see it right here. The move is part of a GOP-led effort backed by President Trump to strengthen its control in Washington. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live in Charlotte with how both sides of the aisle are reacting. Good morning, Destiny.
Good morning. North Carolina's new congressional lines were approved late yesterday, and it's definitely a major shakeup that could impact how much power the GOP has come next year in Washington. And here's why. The new map shifts the state's delegation from 10 Republicans and 4 Democrats to 11 Republicans and just 3 Democrats. GOP leaders say the change answers President Donald Trump's call for more Republican seats in Congress, especially in eastern North Carolina. Democrats in Raleigh argue it's a clear case of racial gerrymandering, while Republicans say the new lines simply balance population and strengthen representation in rural areas.
You may push the African American voters out of District 1, the representation of African American voters out of District 1, but this is wrong, and wrong never stands.
While we considered several variations of the congressional plan with our consultants, ultimately we decided to proceed with the map put forward by Senator Ralph Heiss.
Despite accusations of weakening black voting power in these districts, Republicans say they followed legal guidelines and did not use racial data. Now, the new congressional map officially takes effect next year in 2026, and Democrats say they're already preparing to sue. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Midtown.
Yeah, speaking of that, Destiny, how long could this legal fight be once Democrats sue?
Yeah, so this could be, leading up all the way until the 2026 election. This is in effect unless the courts decide otherwise. There's particularly a focus on the 1st Congressional District. It's currently held by Democrat Don Davis. And under this new map, several majority black counties were essentially swapped out for Republican-leaning coastal areas in this part of North Carolina. So Democrats are saying that this is weakening and dismantling most of the black voting power in this area, because it's an area that has voted for African American representatives for more than 30 years. As we know, this is also something on the national stage. Texas is involved in something similar. We know California is trying to counter this with their own redistricting. So we do know that former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, who's a part of the national Democratic effort with redistricting, he says lawsuits will be coming. So North Carolina is not the only one involved in this.
All right. Destiny Richards reporting live for us. Destiny, thank you.
Well, meantime, Governor Stein is now calling the redistricting outrageous, saying it is an absolute abuse of power, and adding that Republican legislative leaders are afraid to say no to the president. In a video posted yesterday, he said, regrettably, he cannot stop the decision.
Under North Carolina's Constitution, the governor does not have the power to veto redistricting maps. If I did have that power, I assure you I would veto this map.
The new map is expected to take effect for the 2026 midterm elections, so don't expect it on ballots next month.
Coming up, President Trump says he's no longer meeting with Vladimir Putin. It comes as NATO leaders pledge support for Ukraine. We'll tell you what this means for the ongoing conflict next. Continuing coverage this morning here on WCNC Plus, President Trump says he's scrapping a planned meeting with Vladimir Putin, telling reporters it just didn't feel right and wouldn't lead to peace.
He's also slapping new sanctions on Russia's oil exports as NATO leaders pledge support for Ukraine. NBC's Alice Barr explains what this means for the ongoing conflict.
This morning, stalemate on stalemate as President Trump announced a second planned summit with Russian President Putin aiming to end the war in Ukraine is off.
It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get.
While new sanctions are on against Russia's two biggest oil companies, the Treasury Department citing Russia's, quote, lack of a serious commitment to a peace process.
I think that they'll certainly have an impact. They're massive sanctions.
Lawmakers in both parties have long pushed for tougher sanctions, Republicans applauding the president's move.
You have to compel Russia to engage in the peace process. They've shown they cannot be trusted.
Democrats still pressing for the bipartisan sanctions bill that goes much further.
Well, until Trump decides that he's going to back the bill here in Congress that puts real sanctions on Russia, and until he decides he's going to get another round of weapons to Ukraine, it's a good day every day for Vladimir Putin.
The urgency is clear in a deadly week for Ukraine. Here, firefighters carrying children from the scene after Ukrainian officials say Russian strikes hit a kindergarten. President Putin also overseeing a nuclear exercise as President Trump met with the NATO Secretary General, who promised increased pressure from Europe, including the latest in a string of sanctions packages, in a joint bid to choke off Russia's economy and force Putin to the table. Administration officials tell NBC News a phone call between the Secretary of State and Russian Foreign Minister ended when Russia said fighting will continue until it gets concessions from Ukraine. Ukraine's president, meeting today with European leaders in Brussels, is reasserting that he will not give up territory to Russia. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In Israel, Vice President J.D. Vance met with the Prime Minister there at a news conference in Jerusalem yesterday as peace talks continue. It comes as Israel and Hamas have been blaming each other for breaking that truce that took effect nearly 2 weeks ago. The Gaza Health Ministry says at least 87 Palestinians have been killed since that ceasefire began, and 2 Israeli soldiers died in southern Gaza over the weekend. Hamas says it is still committed to that ceasefire despite accusing Israel of repeated violations. Vice President Vance says he's hopeful this ceasefire is going to hold.
We're here to talk about peace. We're here to talk about how to ensure that the peace agreement that started about a week ago sticks, that we move into phase 2 and phase 3 with success. As the president said, there will be torments along the way. It will be difficult, but I feel very optimistic based on my conversation with our Israeli friends and also with our Gulf Arab friends that it's possible that we actually can make peace stick and that we can create the kind of environment where our Gulf Arab friends and our Israeli friends can build a better Middle East for everybody. So that is the goal of the administration. We think that it's in the best interest of the United States. We also think that it's in the best interest of everybody who lives here. So we'll keep on working on it and working on it together. Thank you.
Vance also met with the Israeli president, pushing Israel and Hamas towards that tougher deal expected in the coming talks.
Coming up, we're going to talk Melissa. Tropical storm Melissa continues to be an evolving story. Will it be the last storm of the season? We'll see. But the main impacts for the Caribbean, this is not going to move fast. We'll talk about the flood threats, what it's going to do, and if it has any impact here in the United States. I'm just going to start off by saying that we're tracking the tropics, but it has no threat to the Carolinas at this point, and I do not see any changes from that point. Our tropical storm Melissa, now a decent, not even a category yet, but a decent tropical storm, winds at about 50 miles per hour, gusts up to 65 miles per hour. It's kind of a disheveled mess right now. It is starting to grow a little bit, but it's over the weekend that we have less wind shear to break it up, and it's going to hit its stride. Check this out. This thing is barely moving, and this isn't factoring in the rain. Whenever you see a storm turn into a circle instead of a cone, that's never good. That means that the storm is moving so slow that you pretty much just have an orb for the cone of uncertainty. So more of an orb of uncertainty. But the biggest concern I have here is that on Tuesday, so Monday night heading to Tuesday, this is predicted to move into a low-end Category 4 strength. So another major hurricane. Luckily, the strongest winds are just offshore, but honestly, it's close enough. I think that you're talking about days of rain here in Jamaica and even days that are going to have tropical storm force winds and even hurricane force gusts. And you don't really see a big difference here from 1 a.m. to Tuesday. Things are moving very, very slow indeed, so keep that in mind. Major hurricane, that's the biggest update that we have from this. But check it out. Here's a look at what's called the wind field. It really starts to expand Sunday into Monday. And at this point, you're looking at strong tropical storm force winds sustained for a period of at least 48 hours here, and that's just Sunday heading into Monday, and this storm looks like it is going to continue to slow down. So this is a big time issue, especially for Jamaica, but it's going to be a big rainmaker across the area. Notice above my head, you can see this bar moving. This brings us up to Saturday at 8 p.m. At this point, you're already seeing a chance at rain totals getting over 10 inches. Once you get to about Sunday, you're talking about into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, when this is all said and done, that the island of Jamaica could have up to 15 to 20 inches of rain. Same thing goes for parts of Cuba and the southern parts of Hispaniola here in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. This is an absolute monster scenario that it's moving so slow. We need it to get out of here. But what does it do after this? Well, it looks like once you get to about the Tuesday timeframe overall, that we start to see a reorganization and it turn back off to the northeast. So that's where you're seeing all that rain totals for Cuba and Hispaniola as it passes Jamaica. Hopefully, we're not going to see a direct landfall from this. So this is something we have to watch really closely for the Caribbean. If you're heading down there, have friends that live down here, but just not a good situation. Kind of thoughts and prayers the way that this one's working out, because this is a stronger storm with a lot of rain. The good news, after it clears the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, it should be moving back out to sea. There's, I think, a 1 in 150 chance that it moves further off towards the west and impacts southern Florida. But right now, everything is trending to push out to sea, so thank goodness there. But those late storms, you can't discount anything that happens here in October. A lot of M names, especially like Mitch and Matthew, have been big culprits of that. And the way things are trending right this could be another retired storm. 73 degrees, that's the high today. Sunshine, right around 74 tomorrow. Lots of sunshine here. A lot of sports events going on this weekend as well. But as soon as the Panthers game hits, temperatures in the mid-60s, things go downhill. We're talking about widespread rain on and off for your Tuesday night, Wednesday into Thursday. That's keeping us much chillier, mainly a cold rain in the 50s. So get ready for that. Not something to look forward to, but we do need the rain. And we also need to know what our morning commute is all about. So let's head over to Majestic.
Good morning, everyone. Take a look at your screen because really traffic is backed up big time right now. This is I-77 at Atondo Ave. We know that this area typically sees a lot of congestion this time of the day just before 8 o'clock. But as you can see, some of those cars are not even moving. And it's because of this accident that I've been reporting on for at least the last 30 minutes to an hour. You can see here it is. It's going to be on the entry ramp to I-85. So from I-77, it's going to be exit 13A. Northbound's being impacted there because a lane is currently blocked. So again, that is a very slow moving place. You can see again another live camera look coming in. Again, I-77 at Atondo Ave. This is the camera that we're currently looking at. And you can see those cars right there to get onto the entry ramp are at a complete standstill. They are moving. I've been watching the camera. They're moving at times, but moving rather slowly. Another lane is blocked right here on Johnston Road at Pin Oak Court. We've been following that one for a little while, and a lot of green still remains, so I think it's getting cleared up. And then another one here on Sharon Road and Park Road, where cars are delayed about 5 minutes. You can see it there in that orange. Guys.
All right, live pictures right now over Uptown, just minutes after the sun has started coming up over our fair city. We got another check of your forecast, commute, and the morning news coming your way right here on WCNC Plus.
The warm-up has begun. How you doing, y'all? We have 47 degrees right now around Charlotte, 42 for you in Boone, 50 around Statesville, and 39 around Monroe. And it's going to be in the lower 70s today. Look at the distance. Nothing but sunshine. Another wall-to-wall sunshine type of scenario. Still on the breezy side with some gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour, fluctuating through the afternoon. Frost advisories and freeze warnings for the first time this season. We're still in the middle or the end of growing season, so that's why you're going to have these right along the I-40 corridor. Better chance for frost, good chance dropping down to at least 34 to 32 degrees up in the high country. Here is a look over the next 10 days. Today is the top by far. We're down to the 60s, and we're even looking at the 50s on Monday and Tuesday. That's all associated with rain. Our lows will be a little bit milder at that point, but as of right now, it looks like it will rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Majestic, take it away.
All right, good morning, everyone. This is I-77 at Atondo Ave, where cars are moving very, very slowly because of an ongoing crash and because lots of people are heading out the door this morning just before 8 o'clock. Also seeing a handful of accidents. I want to still talk about what I just showed you. It's right here, the entry ramp to I-85 eastbound from I-77. That's exit 13A. It's going to look like this, so allow for some extra drive time to get to where you need to be.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg, in for Lisa Washington. Well, this morning, CMPD continues to figure out how a 19-year-old was allegedly able to break into 16 different businesses. Documents accuse him of taking nearly $65,000 in cash and goods in South Charlotte.
WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane now live. He's across the street from the Arboretum Shopping Center in South Charlotte with the latest. And Richard, you say that he may not have acted alone in this.
Yeah, we've been speaking to and hearing from some of the businesses that are across the street. As you said, security told us they needed us off of the property. I guess they want to make sure that they keep the place safe after what happened over the last couple weeks anyway. They said that in Charlotte, the business owners are still dealing with the aftermath of a string of break-ins that left thousands of dollars in damages and stolen merchandise. According to search warrants that were issued Tuesday, 19-year-old Emil Lagos Herrera is now charged with breaking and entering at 16 locations, larceny at 11 businesses, and 16 counts of felony conspiracy. You can still see some of the damage left behind after those break-ins that happened between the 6th through the 13th of October, all at the shopping center right here off of Pineville Matthews Road. One of the hardest hit stores, VIP Nails, now back open, but staff say thieves smashed their way inside with a brick. Other people report seeing on their surveillance videos a group of about 3 to 5 men smashing windows with like a metal bat. At the VIP Nails, they made off with both cash registers, stealing nearly $10,000. And another business, CPR cell phone repair, suffered even greater losses, losing tens of thousands of dollars in stolen merchandise, and including iPhones and other stuff. In all, police say these thieves made off with more than $50,000 worth of merchandise and cash. Customers in the area say they're shocked by the crime spree and worried about safety in places they've always considered secure. One person who works at the shopping center we spoke to says it's shaken her sense of security and safety.
When I return with the wooden thing on the door, and I was like, what's going on? But then this when my coworker was saying that our shop got broken into. How they broke in, they just like usually use the brick and just hit the window. They took both of our cash registers. You're young, and it's just like you have a whole life to live. You shouldn't be locked up for some silly stuff.
But apparently Herrera is locked up for some silly stuff. He's now being held in the Mecklenburg County Jail without bond. Police say this is an ongoing investigation. As we told you, some business owners have looked at their surveillance video, so I'm sure police have that, and hopefully they'll have more arrests catching everyone involved with this. That security folks over there as well keep coming up just a little bit ago and telling us to move across the street. We're right here off of the Arboretum. Richard Devane, we'll send it back to you.
So Richard, we think, according to police, that other people were involved. Do they think that because of actual evidence that there might be other people, or just because of the sheer number that all these businesses, all this money, they don't think he possibly could have done it himself?
Yeah, logic would say the one person couldn't do all of that, calling off 2 cash registers. But we can tell you that some people who have businesses over here have reported seeing their surveillance video and seeing that number of folks actually breaking in. So the question would be, looking at the search warrants for Herrera's house, would be actually what led them to him. Hopefully when they catch one person, as they've done in this case, it'll lead to other arrests. But from some of the businesses over there, they say that they have surveillance video and that they see multiple people breaking glass with what they call a metal bat, or bricks in this case, to get inside the store. So that's how police know there's more than one person. They have not made any other arrests as of yet, that we know of.
All right, Richard Devane reporting live for us across the street from the Arboretum this morning in South Charlotte. Richard, thank you. All right, turning back to your forecast with Chris.
Thanks a lot, Ben. So we have officially begun our warm-up. We're up to 47 degrees in Charlotte, 39 though for you in Gastonia. Yikes. But check it out. This morning we officially tied Monday, dropping down to 44 degrees, coldest low of the season for now. It's just a tying October 20th. Again, that was Monday. But then over the next couple of days, it's going to be the coldest morning of the season. And then, a tie of the coldest morning of the season. As you can see, we're going to continue to do this. So I promise next week I'm not going to keep on on mentioning that. But next week, it's actually more of our highs that are impacted and well below normal. Highs today, well, back into the lower to the mid 70s, just like yesterday. A little bit of a wind chill to the air because those winds gusting up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. Sunshine galore, but those winds, I think especially, are going to be highest in the mid to late afternoon. Gusts up to about 20 miles per hour. I think peaking to about 25. Over the last few days, here's where we've been all over the place. 74 yesterday, 73 today. Tuesday, right around 80 degrees, and that could be the last time we do that for a long time because we are looking at the next real 14 days. This is only 10 days here on your screen. The next 14 days are going to be below normal, so nowhere near above average temperatures to try to get back to that 80 degrees. So that might have been the last time that we hit 80 degrees this past Saturday. We're through the 60s, but the 50s, that's what's really standing out to me. Back down to 56 on Monday, 58 degrees on Tuesday, and then the lower 60s heading into Halloween. So Halloween right now trending to be dry, just cold. So maybe adjust those costumes accordingly, and that doesn't look like it's wavering. Our local fire danger is letting you know that we do have a high fire danger risk because of how dry and windy it's going to be. So keep that in mind if you have any bonfires or any controlled burns. Overnight tonight, dropping down to the lower 40s, as I mentioned, but we have a chance at some freezing temperatures. That's why we have our first frost advisories and freeze warnings of the season. Expect a lot more of these to come over the next month. Let's get over to Majestic for our morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. If you're heading out the door anytime soon, yes, grab the layers. The good news is it's a beautiful start to the day. We have nice clear skies and traffic is quite busy at this time. It's going to take you around 1 hour if you're coming in from Gastonia, just over 50 if you're coming in from Salisbury. We've been watching this camera. The camera's just frozen. Traffic is actually moving. It's just pretty backed up right there northbound. This is going to be at I-77 at Atondo. Here's the deal. This is what we're watching. Still an active crash right here. All of that red is indicating stop and go traffic. It's the entry ramp to I-85 eastbound from I-77. So basically it's at exit 13A as you're heading northbound. That's going to be a big delay for you this morning. Again, cars are moving. They're just moving a little slower than they typically would. And then a new crash right here on I-77 northbound. Again, this is going to be near exit 23, which is Gilead Road. Those are the two major things that I'm watching out on those area roadways. Everyone else is seeming to be flowing all right. We'll give you some more updates coming up here in just a little while.
Majestic, thanks. Right now, the man accused of killing Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail now formally facing a federal indictment. WCNC Charlotte obtained court documents showing DeCarlos Brown is facing counts of a charge called violence on a mass transit system resulting in death. He's also facing a first-degree murder charge. The filing comes exactly 2 months after Zarutska was killed while riding the Blue Line. Yesterday, local Republicans held a press conference calling for action. They say violence in Charlotte has reached a breaking point. They're pushing for more action and accountability from city leaders.
Everyone, and I mean state, local, and county, we all are responsible in this situation. And so it's incumbent upon elected officials in both our city council and our county commission and our local state delegation to begin to work together to address the gaps that we know exist.
Important note, CMPD says violent crime in Charlotte is down so far this year. Charlotte's Metropolitan Transit Committee now moving forward with a resolution that will crack down on riders that do not pay their fare. You'll remember DeCarlos Brown, the man accused of that deadly stabbing, has not paid to be on the train at the time of the attack. The resolution adopted at yesterday's meeting affirms recent security changes by CATS, including stricter enforcement of fares.
Coming up next, we take an inside look at Amazon's robot workforce, but will they replace humans? We'll hear what workers have to say right after the break. Time now, 8:11. Meta is laying off around 600 employees within its AI unit. The move comes as the company looks to cut layers and operate more nimbly, according to a spokesperson. Workers across Meta's AI infrastructure units and other product-related teams will be impacted. However, the cuts will not impact employees within TBD Labs, which includes many of Meta's top AI hires brought on this summer. Sources say the AI unit was too large, with teams often competing for resources.
This morning, we're taking an inside look at Amazon's new robot workforce. The company calls them the future, but says human workers won't be left behind.
Vicky Nagiri takes us inside Amazon's innovation lab to meet the robots.
Amazon believes that robots like these are the future. At this facility outside Boston, we saw how they can lift, scan, and place products, the kind of work Aaron Martin used to do.
It'll suction onto the box to pick it up, and then it'll place it in the tote where it needs to go.
Is this robot doing work that humans used to do?
Similar, yes. It's just this could run 24/7.
4 years ago, he was stocking bins in an Amazon warehouse.
I used to just stow product in aisles of bins.
Now machines can do that work faster and with fewer injuries. We asked Amazon HR Vice President Ofori Agboka what that means for workers.
When people ask you yes or no, will the workforce at Amazon shrink as a result of automation, robots, AI, what do you say?
Our populations and sizes where people sit in the footprint is going to vary as we grow.
So it'll change.
It'll vary as we grow.
In June, Amazon CEO Andy Jassy announced plans to, quote, reduce our total workforce as we get efficiency gains using AI. And a New York Times report citing internal documents says Amazon's robotics team has a goal to automate 75% of its operations, translating to 600,000 people whom Amazon didn't need to hire by 2033. Amazon says the documents in the Times report are incomplete and reflect the perspective of just one team and don't represent our overall hiring strategy.
Do you see a time where the number of robots will be higher than the number of people employed by Amazon?
I don't foresee that. AI is going to change the nature of everything we do, but the key is getting familiar with it.
For Aaron Martin, the solution is upskilling.
You got paid to go to school.
He enrolled in Amazon's apprenticeship program to learn how to repair the robots that do the very work he used to, earning more than $40 an hour. Amazon says more than 300,000 U.S. employees have trained for new roles as AI and automation change or replace their jobs.
When people are like cynical and they're like, AI is coming, it's going to take our jobs, it's going to ruin humanity, what do you say to that?
I don't think so. This isn't Terminator.
As we go to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, you know how we do it. Our team is trying to save you money all the time. We're testing a lot of products. We only bring you the best. And today we're talking about cleaning because I hate cleaning. So I'm always looking for something that's going to make my life better. Mainly because I got a bad back and I was like bending down, leaning up. This thing has an extension. I'm going to show you everything. It's the PureSonic cordless rechargeable power scrubber brush, and it comes with all these attachments too, which is really cool. This is for windows right over here, and you can see it goes right on that. This is for really tough grime. This is for polishing. This is for washing the outside of your car. It has this. This is for your sink, actually. This is for corners. This is for your shower and tile. And look how easy this goes on. And by the way, in our tests, this Clean Better was more powerful and less expensive than most. So all you do, you put a little soap on this, then you run it under the water and then let it go to work just like this. Nice and easy. This is the easiest ever. Come on in, look at the finished product. Look how beautiful that is. But it does so much more. Let's go. This is my favorite part. It comes with this huge extender, so you can literally clean the tiles in your shower that have probably never been cleaned before with these. No muss, no fuss. Normally this is $59.99. We got you a deal today. Amazing discount. Down to $39.99. It's 33% off. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now or go to shoptvdeals.com.
In Arizona this morning, 2 men are recovering after being struck by lightning. It started with a hike up Humphreys Peak, the highest point in the state. Mason Carroll has more on the rescue efforts and the warning from meteorologists about lightning dangers.
After getting struck by lightning and waiting for search and rescue crews, this Flagstaff man was reunited with his wife at Snow Bowl. He was one of 2 men struck while hiking near Humphreys Peak. The call came in after 11 this morning. According to search and rescue members, when the men were struck, one of their phones flew about 30 yards away, but thankfully they were able to call for help with the other one. The first man who made it down was mobile and was able to meet up with search and rescue on the mountain. The other man was not mobile, and search and rescue spent the afternoon and evening working to bring him down the mountain. National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Bernhardt says Humphreys Peak is not the place to hike during a storm because there are no protective trees at the top.
It's up at 12,600 feet, and the tree line is probably right at about 11,500 to 11,800. And if you're in a cover of trees, lightning usually likes to go for the highest object, not always, but usually. And when you're up on Humphreys, you are the highest object. So the lightning, unfortunately, is going to potentially aim for you.
He says when thunder roars, go indoors. The best offense against lightning is defense, as in check the weather before you even head out the door.
All right, good things to keep in mind, especially when you're hiking out there.
Definitely.
Bring in Chris. He's tracking statistics when it comes to these sorts of things. They don't happen often, Chris, but when they do, they can be serious.
Yeah, it was taking forever for this graphic to load. Sorry, I was late to my box. But just letting you know, this one's obvious. We learned about this when we were middle schoolers and before. Under a tree, 92 deaths. And this goes 2006 to 2023. And there's actually an organization that tracks all this, and it really started in 2006. But as you can see, the data is all over the place. And actually, the most lightning-prone incidents for actually recreational activities is out on open water as people are fishing. So kind of keep that in mind. As far as the 2025 data goes, and never good to report on fatalities, but there were 20 people who died here in the United States from lightning fatalities. 2 of them including here in North Carolina. Florida is the lightning capital of the world, so we actually had that up to number 3 as well. And then most recently there was a couple in Colorado, but thank goodness we didn't add any new statistics from the story we were just talking about. What I think is really interesting is that yearly lightning deaths have gone down each and every year. So we are being smarter. We are also doing that defense, as we just mentioned by that reporter. But the 1940s, we had over 300 lightning deaths per year, and then it almost got cut in half by the 50s. Now we're averaging about 20 per year for the 2020 so far, which is 5 less than what we had from 2010 to 2019. The most interesting lightning stat that I like to share with people is that 80% of all lightning deaths are males. So you can have your comment on that, but this year it was 85%, but usually average around 79.6 to be precise. As far as our forecast goes, no lightning is in the forecast, but rain definitely is. I think we're gonna have widespread rain potentially here on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday looks to be the highest chance for right now, as we have this system that's going to be rolling in. So in the near term, just enjoy the drier and sunnier weather while we have it, because things are really gonna take a downturn. Today is the last day on the 7-day and the near term that we have highs in the 70s with wall-to-wall sunshine, cooler each day after that. 50s with rain, not great forecast on Monday and Tuesday, but hey, we do need the rain. We do also need to know what our morning commute's looking like. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, it's busy as you're heading out the door this morning. We have our typical delays, but then we also have a handful of ongoing wrecks for you. Still following this one, it's still not cleared. It's going to be the entry ramp to get onto I-85 from I-77, specifically exit 13A right here, the ramp right there. One lane is currently blocked because of the ramp that is still ongoing. The crash up there in I-77 out there at Gilead Road has since been cleared, so if you are coming inbound out towards Huntersville, you'll just have your typical delays, no more crashes there. One lane currently blocked right here. It's going to be on South Boulevard at Tremont Ave. We're seeing some oranges and some yellows starting to build, meaning that cars are moving a little slower than they typically would if there wasn't an accident. And then this one here that I've been following as well here on Sharon Road at Park Road, absolutely cleared as well. Area roadways are looking all right. It's a clear, sunny start to the day. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here in a little while. But for now, let's go ahead and send things over to Larry Sprinkle.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. Time for this day in history. We go back to the year 2001. October 23rd, Apple released the very first iPod on this day in history. Check it out. That's the way it looked back in those days. Maybe you have one. Most likely not. The iPod. The year was 2001, released on this day in history. Here are the facts. Apple introduced the very first iPod, a portable MP3 music player that could hold 1,000 songs and offered 10 hours of battery life. Going back in time, there it is. That's the display for it. Maybe you have one. Not too many people do. The iPod, released on this day in history, the year 2001. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
The king of the court, North Carolina native as well, we should say. Michael Jordan hasn't picked up a basketball in years, he says. During his debut Tuesday night as a special contributor to NBC's NBA broadcast, Jordan said he now has more time to spend with loved ones instead of shooting hoops. Actually, he revealed the last time he held a ball was at the Ryder Cup, where he rented a house for an event. The homeowner stopped by and asked him to shoot a free throw, which he did. Jordan said it was the most nervous he'd been in years. He says that while he doesn't play anymore, he still loves the sport, especially misses the competition. Of course, as we know, was highly involved in the Hornets for many years.
Yep.
Did he make the free throw?
I was waiting for that too.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I bet he did.
For his sake.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you're Michael Jordan. If you're Ben Thompson, you
Yeah.
don't expect it.
No.
Not at all. It's a kind of a side, but still Michael Jordan. JT's in love with the movie Space Jam. We showed.
Oh, yeah.
that's
Classic.
fun.
So good.
So good.
Proving it stands the test of time.
Yes, it does. Yes, it is. There's a newer one, but
That's
the
not
older
as
one.
good.
Yeah,
The
yeah, don't
90s
worry.
version.
Yeah, don't worry.
Always wins.
Always wins. And
Jordan
Thomas
all the way.
Crown Affair, too.
A Thomas Crown Affair. We were talking about that earlier. Love it.
Live pictures right now over uptown as the sun comes up. Another check of your forecast and your morning commute next on WCNC Plus.
This right here is what we're going to have all day long. Blue sky if you weren't looking at the screen. 73 degrees. That's going to be our top. Very similar to what we had yesterday. Almost the exact same day. It's a breezy afternoon. Perfectly clear. Enjoy it. Today also might be the last day that we have in the 70s for a while. Things are really trending the wrong direction, but not unusual for this time of year. Down into the 30s, the higher up that you go. 42 degrees around the Charlotte area. That will again outdo the last previously cold this morning. And we have frost advisories and freeze warnings north of us along the I-40 corridor, even extending as far east as Rowan County. 7-day forecast showing a downward spiral. Highs only in the 50s with rain on Monday and Tuesday. A little bit warmer as rain starts to get out of here on Wednesday. Should stay dry for Halloween. Majestic, what's going on for our morning commute?
It's a busy start to our Thursday morning, but boy, look at that. It is beautiful. Lots of sunshine out there. This is I-77 at 277. Looking at the Queen City there. It is going to be busy. We have our typical delays, but we also have a handful of crashes, including this one here. It's on the entry ramp to I-85 from I-77. That's exit 13A northbound. We've been following that for a while, still not cleared. And then here on South Boulevard, another accident with the right lane being blocked. We'll have more on WCNC Plus soon.
morning. Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 6:30. I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. The North Carolina House officially approving new congressional maps. The move part of a GOP-led effort backed by the president to strengthen control in Washington.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live in Charlotte with how both sides of the aisle are reacting. Good morning, Destiny.
Good morning. North Carolina's congressional lines were approved late yesterday, and this is a major shakeup that could give the GOP more power in Washington come next year. Now, this is why. The new map shifts the state's delegation from 10 Republicans and 4 Democrats to 11 Republicans and just 3 Democrats. GOP leaders say the change answers President Donald Trump's call for more Republican seats in Congress, especially in eastern North Carolina. Now, Democrats in Raleigh argue it's a clear case of racial gerrymandering, while Republicans say the new lines simply balance population and strengthen representation in rural areas.
You may push the African American voters out of District 1, the representation of African American voters out of District 1, but this is wrong, and wrong never stands.
While we considered several variations of the congressional plan with our consultants, ultimately we decided to proceed with the map put forward by Senator Ralph Heiss.
Despite accusations of weakening black voting power in these districts, Republicans say they followed legal guidelines and did not use racial data. Now, this new congressional map will officially take effect in 2026, and Democrats say they're already preparing to sue. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Midtown.
Yeah, which would not be the first time. This has been litigated many, many times over the last few years in the court system. Since we know they're threatening to sue, they'll probably follow through with that. How long of a legal fight is this going to be leading up to the 2026 midterms?
Yeah, it could definitely be a long one because this is not something only happening in North Carolina. We know right now Democrats are kind of lasering in on the 1st congressional district. This is represented by a Democrat, Don Davis. And basically with this new map, it's showing that there are heavily populated African American areas that have been swapped out with more Republican-leaning coastal areas. So they're arguing that this is diluting, again, black voting power in these areas, that they won't be represented as well because these are areas that have been represented by African American representatives for more than 30 years. We also know that former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, he's leading the national Democratic effort with this redistricting. He says that he is bringing forth lawsuits, and that's definitely something that's not only going to affect North Carolina, but other states who are embattled in this as well.
All right, Destiny Richards reporting live for us. Destiny, thank you. Let's get back to your forecast. Chris.
Flannel weather starting off the morning and even more so over the next couple of mornings. 47 is the current temperature right now in Charlotte, but Monroe and Gastonia, you're at 39. Morganton at the 37-degree point right now. Our coldest low of the season, well, Monday we hit 44 and we hit 44 this morning, but that will be down pretty soon. But let's get to our dog of the day, or should I say pets of the day, because we got 2 of them here. We have Ebby and Leela, brought to us by Christopher, and then of course we got to crank things up music-wise. We have a slight wind chill starting off the day. Temperatures getting into the lower 70s by the middle of the afternoon. Feeling great, sunshine galore. It will be a little bit on the breezy side, so Ebby, if you're going to be climbing a tree, watch out. Could have some gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. And Leela, watch out for those leaves. They're going to be blowing all over the place. All right, end scene. Thanks a lot, Cody, for the music. 73 degrees are our highs today, and yesterday we were at 74. Winds out of the west, slightly warmer directions, say than the north and the northwest, where they're going to be shifting over the next couple of days. But 70s, we're going to see those almost become a rarity, especially over the next 10 to 14. You're used to more of the 60s and, dare I say, 50s for our high temperatures. Yikes. Our winds today, gusting up to 15 to 25 miles per hour. I think you have gusts over 30. The higher you go up in the high country around Watauga County. And the one thing to know, one of my graphics I showed this morning, is that the 70s, as I mentioned, are going going to disappear. Once you get to Monday, you're talking about no sunshine. It's dreary, cloudy skies, and then widespread rain on and off throughout the day, so not allowing us to warm up all that much. Back to our lows, though. Overnight tonight, we're dropping down to 42 degrees. The sun's rising up tomorrow. We'll do that again on Saturday, so as I mentioned, it's going to outdo what we just had. And then our frost advisory and our freeze warning both start at 2 o'clock and end at 9 a.m. That could be a chance for freezing temperatures and a frosty environment. This is just letting us know, hey, if you have any plants that you want further longevity, maybe you want to bring them in because the freezing temperatures and frost, well, they don't really like that. Our rainfall chances are spiking Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, as I mentioned, coming down just in time for the last day of the month, which is especially important because it's Halloween. Coming up, I'm going to show you a little bit more detailed look what's happening here. Also, we're going to have a peek into the tropics, Melissa, and if we have any secondary impacts with that here in the Carolinas. But first, we have to start off checking out our morning commute with Majestic. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful start to the day. We have plenty of sunshine out there. This is I-77 at York County. You can see those roads. They're flowing all right. Also want to show you another live camera. This one's coming in on I-77 at Tyvola, so you can see it is just moving rather slowly at this time. Let's go ahead and break down a few things that I'm watching for you on my map as you're heading out the door. We have still a lot of icons still popping up, but we also have our typical delays. It's 8:36 right now, so this one right here is really the biggest problem as you're heading out the door, and it's still not completely cleared, although I am seeing less and less red, so that's some good news for us. Again, it's going to be on the entry ramp to I-85 to get onto I-77. That's exit 13A there, and then to the south of that, another one. The right lane is currently blocked because of a crash. This is on South Boulevard at Tremont Ave. You can see that orange starting to build there. Once we bounce on down to the south, we are seeing this here. A lane is blocked because of a crash. This is at Johnston Road at Pin Oak Court. This has been ongoing as well. Not seeing a lot of delays, but again, it's just not cleared yet. Again, here's that live camera look. This is I-77. There it is, flowing all right. This is right around exit 5. It feels like it's 45 degrees outside, so if you are heading out the door, at least you probably want to grab a sweatshirt before you do. Those are the things I'm watching for now. We'll have another update for you coming up here in just a few minutes, but bottom line, not seeing any significant delays as of now.
This morning, a lawsuit against the Catawba County Sheriff in the city of Newton is moving to trial. That lawsuit filed after a former police officer says his career was cut short because of politics.
WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard looks deeper into the case as questions are being raised about power politics and policing.
Well, Derek Slaughter says after announcing his run for Catawba County Sheriff, everything changed. Now some are questioning whether you can wear a badge and still challenge the system behind it. When Derek Slaughter joined the Newton Police Department, he says he believed in service and integrity.
I stand by every bit of it.
In 2022, he decided to take that commitment one step further by running against Don Brown for Catawba County Sheriff. A decision that may have cost him his career, according to these court filings.
I knew there was a potential and high probability that I was going to have a target on my back.
Slaughter says shortly after announcing his run, he was faced with lots of retaliation, eventually withdrawing from the race.
And honestly, I thought that maybe potentially it would save my job and my career, but that ultimately didn't happen. They made this decision to serve me with the Giglio letter.
This case isn't the first claim of punishment for stepping into politics. Brookford Police Chief Willie Armstrong recently made similar claims, saying he too faced retaliation after announcing his own run for sheriff, while also trying to solve a cold case of Dee Dee Dawkins.
As they told me that this could take my career. This is a local level situation that is very tied in with people that are at the top of the food chain in this area.
Armstrong was issued a Giglio notice just last week, a mark that can permanently damage an officer's credibility and career.
People in law enforcement, they consider that's a death sentence for cops, because that's basically saying your word is no good anymore.
Slaughter's recent lawsuit against the Catawba County Sheriff's Office and the city of Newton is now heading to trial, reopening an uncomfortable conversation about politics and policing. We reached out about those concerns. Catawba County Sheriff Brown responding, saying allegations contained in this complaint are baseless and is nothing more than a political theater. Brown says he's looking forward to addressing this matter in court. Slaughter says so is he.
The truth's going to come out. And I think that's going to be a good day for not just me, but a lot of other officers that has endured a lot of this.
No court date has been set yet, but this case could have ripple effects for both the Newton Police Department and the Catawba County Sheriff's Office. Two agencies now under scrutiny as this high-profile trial heads to court. Back to you.
The government shutdown stretches into day 23, putting food assistance for millions at risk. Coming up, we'll hear the concerns from those affected.
.842 right now on WCNC Plus. The ongoing government shutdown now entering day 23. Yesterday, the Senate failed yet again to pass a funding bill that would have ended the shutdown for the 12th time.
The vote, 54 to 46, fell just short of the 60 votes needed to move forward. It followed a 22-hour speech from Senator Jeff Merkley, who held the floor overnight protesting President Trump's agenda. So far, this is the second longest shutdown in U.S. history.
Right now, millions of Americans who rely on food stamps could soon lose access to them in November if the shutdown continues. Officials say there aren't enough federal dollars left to pay out full SNAP benefits to families. If Congress doesn't pass a new spending plan by November 1st, or if the Trump administration doesn't step in to find additional funds, those families could lose some or all of their benefits. Folks across the country now voicing their concerns.
I'm going to really be depending on the food banks. Stuff that I can make a meal out of, or if I'm just going to be eating soup for the month.
There are thousands of people in this community that are living on the edge, meaning that little bit extra each month that helps support groceries for their children and for their families is literally life-saving. No parent wants their child to go unfed, and that's what will start happening. Parents will forego their own needs. You'll start, when you can't afford as many groceries, the kids are going to be the first ones to be fed.
The other federally funded program being impacted is WIC. That's Women, Infants, and Children's Program. It provides nutrition and financial assistance to low-income pregnant women, new moms, and children up to 5. More than 6 million families rely on WIC.
And in Washington, D.C., the East Wing of the White House was mostly demolished yesterday to make way for President Trump's $300 million ballroom. Sherelle Hubbard has more on the ballroom's construction and the criticism it's drawing from architects.
Out with the old and in with the new.
You probably hear the beautiful sound of construction to the back. You hear that sound? Oh,
That's music to my ears. I love that sound. Other people don't like it.
An excavator was first spotted Monday tearing down portions of the East Wing to clear space where President Trump is building a new ballroom that he says will cost about $300 million.
We're building a ballroom. I don't think it'll be topped. We'll have the most beautiful ballroom in the country.
Renderings provided by the White House depict a vast space with gold and crystal chandeliers, gilded Corinthian columns, and a coffered ceiling with gold inlays, gold floor lamps, and a checkered marbled floor. In the midst of a government shutdown, one GOP senator said the optics are concerning.
We're talking about building a ballroom when we're trying to get the economy squared away. Timing's bad.
Historic preservation groups have urged a pause on the East Wing demolition until, quote, plans for the proposed ballroom go through the legally required public review processes.
I just can't believe that the wrecking ball is taken to this iconic structure that symbolizes America and our strength and culture, and all without approval of Congress.
I said, how long will it take me? Sir, you can start tonight. You have no approvals. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, sir, this is the White House. You're the President of the United States. You can do anything you want.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
When we come back, another check of your forecast and your morning commute.
Welcome back, everyone. So I just want to start off and say I'm tracking Tropical Storm Melissa, but it will not be an impact here in the Carolinas. The only chance is that maybe it brings some higher waves to the Outer Banks and the Carolina coastline as it moves back out to sea. But Tropical Storm Melissa is going to become a major name the way things are trending. The worst thing that any one of these tropical systems can do is slow down and stall out. That's what happened with Harvey. There was a slow-moving storm with Florence. At one point, we also had Dorian turned completely stationary. This storm could turn stationary before it gets going. Right now, no new update for the 8 a.m. update. There's a new fresh set of data every 3 hours that comes from the National Hurricane Center, including every 6 hours a new cone update. The most recent one, we're going to have a better cone outlook come the 11 a.m. update. The biggest change that's happened over the last 24 hours is the intensity. This is now in a perfect scenario to rapidly intensify into a category 1, 2, 3, then 4 hurricanes. So another major hurricane on tap. But what really has me concerned is where it's stalling out. It's right over Jamaica. So you might say, oh, okay, the center's right here. This is going to be a massive system that is going to be not just a day, but days of torrential downpour, days of at least tropical storm force winds. So not a good situation for Jamaica and the Caribbean in general, because eventually this is going to bend back and move its way back out to sea. So here's a look at the potential wind field. Shows that we have tropical storm force winds arriving on Saturday night into Sunday morning right around Jamaica. And then it starts to intensify, most likely dancing out here for a couple of days before it works its way off towards the north and east. Check out our rainfall, and it really tells a tale. Saturday to Sunday, the amount of rain that we could see in Jamaica and parts of Hispaniola are anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain. That is staggering. And then once you get to about Tuesday to Thursday, that's where it looks like we're going to have Melissa move back out through some of the islands north of Cuba and eventually back out to sea. So our model tracks are showing that it's going to take a while, middle of next week, eventually guiding it out of here. But at that point, the damage is done. Not a good situation. If you know anyone that's in the Caribbean, keep an eye on them. If you have a trip there, might be canceled just depending on what is going on. So big time update there. One last look at our 7-day forecast today. It's the top, 73 degrees with sunshine, getting cooler each day after that. 50s with rain Monday and Tuesday, and including Wednesday. Majestic, what's going on for our morning commute?
Good morning, everyone. Let's give you an update because, for one, we're holding on to just a cool and crisp start to the day. You're seeing this is I-77 here, where traffic is continuing to flow all right. Not seeing any major delays out that direction. We do have our typical delays, I-77 inbound, especially I-85 as well, and even for parts of 485, especially out there towards Matthews. If you're coming inbound from York County into Mecklenburg County, that red is ongoing, but we are used to that this time of the day. And then right here, we have a lane that's blocked because of a crash. It's going to be on South Boulevard. Yep, South Boulevard and Tremont Ave to the north. Still following this here, a new crash at Tryon Street and 23rd Street. That yellow just means that there are some minimal impacts there. The entry ramp to I-85 eastbound from I-77 still going to be impactful. That's at exit 13A specifically. The entry ramp is where the crash is. Keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. That's what I'm watching for now. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here shortly.
All right, Halloween's just around the corner, meaning it's not too early to get your scare on, especially with it being National Horror Movie Day. That's right.
Yeah, many believe the first horror film came to be in the 1800s when a French filmmaker created a short silent film that was called The Haunted Castle. It had witches and ghosts and skeletons. While it wasn't intended to be scary, it was the first example of a film to include the supernatural, paving the way for terrifying films we see today.
So we wanted to know, would we survive a horror movie? Asking that question of ourselves this morning with the help of a few specific questions, and you can play along at home. Let's go ahead and pop up that first one.
All right.
You move into a new house, and the previous owner left dozens of creepy dolls in the attic. What do you do?
Get rid of them.
You play with them.
I think you burn them.
Just kidding.
Play with them. That is just wild.
I'm kidding.
You're asking for
Burn them.
problems right
Throw
there.
them in the
That's
bonfire.
right. All right, so strike one against Bragg. She's going to end up...
She'll give it away for Christmas presents.
Yeah, right? Maybe.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay, you hear a strange noise in the basement. What do you do?
Lock the door and ignore it.
Lock the door. That's right.
I think kind of pretend that you didn't hear anything.
You guys wouldn't investigate that. That's your home.
See, this is a problem.
Yep.
This is why you wouldn't make it through a horror movie.
I mean, if it's something that's insane happening, don't you want to know what's going on? You just
I
gotta
guess
turn
it
around
depends on
and
how
go-
extreme it is. If it's something that I can just try to forget about, then I'm forgetting about it.
Yes.
Unless Kim tells me to do it, I'm not doing it.
There you go.
Would you even do it if Kim told you to?
I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
Do we have another one? I'm not sure.
Okay.
We do? Okay. The killer is down on the ground, but the suspenseful background music hasn't stopped. What does that mean?
That the killer is still alive.
That's true. I think that's okay.
We know that one at least.
We know that one.
Yeah, the fact is also they just slow down. It was like, no, they keep running. It drives me crazy in horror movies. I was like, all right, everything's done. We're still going to remain in the same area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we're good.
Chris is like, run.
I still think I would be the first to die of the four of us. Just let me know.
Probably.
I can see it.
Yeah, probably. That's no surprise there.
It's too nice.
Yeah, I know.
We got some breaking news in the NBA. We've been hearing about just in the last few minutes here. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. You probably know him from the Hornets. That's probably how you best know him. And Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups arrested this morning in connection with a federal gambling investigation. Rozier, former Charlotte Hornet, was taken to custody there in Orlando. Billups' arrest location has not been confirmed yet. Authorities say several others tied to organized crime are also expected to face some big charges here. The FBI plans to announce details sometime later this morning. Well, up next, Jane Monreal continues our coverage from our live Impact studio. She's going to have more on Rozier and more on who all was arrested as part of that sports betting investigation.
Plus, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at the Carolina Theater. Tune in to learn more about the month-long schedule of movies, live music, and of course, the Muppets, right here on WCNC Plus.
If you love yesterday, you'll love today. It'll be a breezy afternoon, wall-to-wall sunshine and highs in the lower to the mid-70s. Yesterday we had 74, 73, just started off a little bit chillier today. And then through tonight, dropping down in the lower 40s. That would be the chilliest low that Charlotte's seen. Areas north, even under frost advisories and freeze warnings for the mountains. 70 forecast has a slow decline temperature-wise. We have the upper 60s, sunshine on Friday, mixing in some clouds on Saturday, mostly cloudy for the Panthers game, and then boom, we're looking at widespread rain and much cooler temperatures. That's a cold rain in the 50s Monday and Tuesday, 60 degrees on Wednesday. So get ready for some chillier temperatures. Not sure about you. I'm going to take advantage of these days while we have them. Let's take advantage of an update from our morning commute with Majestic.
All right, good morning, everyone. Off we go. It's a beautiful start to our Thursday morning commute. You can see it right here. This is South Carolina, York County, where area roadways, they're flowing all right as people are heading out and starting their day. Drive times are basically spot on. If you're coming in from Matthews, right around 30 minutes to get you right into Charlotte. It's beautiful here. This is I-77 at 277 here in the uptown area. We have lots of red. That's just our typical delays, but we also have still this ongoing accident. I need to let you know about it. It's going to be at exit 13A, the entry ramp to I-85 North.